All right, what is up, people? We got a stable phone in place. It's not going nowhere. I can begin my commute home. All right, I wanted to talk today about what creativity means, I guess, and also how to get a deeper capacity for creativity. Oh, there the phone goes. And when I say capacity for creativity, I guess what I mean is learning how to cultivate that state of mind in your life more often, because you can be creative doing things that you might consider mundane. Like, you can be creative while washing the dishes. You can turn washing the dishes into a dance of sorts. But I find a lot of times when people are trying to be creative doing things, like making music or writing, poetry, sketching, whatever your form of media is, a lot of people, I feel like they get caught up in, well, people are going to see this. So they get caught up in the idea of how to make it good. What does that even mean to be good? How to make your art good. So I think that's a bullshit idea. Like, of course, you can hear a musician and think, wow, that guy's like really technically proficient at his instrument, right? And on paper, that might make him better than someone who's less technically proficient at their instrument. But when it comes to art, what does that mean? Better, good. Like, what does that even mean? Because what is the goal of art? If it's to make you feel something, if it's to disturb you or inspire you or move you in some way, well, that can be done in a whole host of ways, in a whole myriad of ways. And I don't think one is better than the other. It's just like, how can it be done? I don't even think art has to make you feel something. Sometimes it might just be cathartic for the person making it, for the artist. It's just a really weird set of circumstances we have ourselves in the modern era, because we're surrounded by these screens, by these phones, by opportunities to get ourselves looked at. And that could be a good thing. That was posed as connectivity. That was posed as giving us connection to our loved ones. That's what these phones were presented as initially. And now it's kind of become like crippling performance anxiety. Like, to the point of, like, we're more isolated, especially, COVID, and then they doubled down on AI and all this bullshit. Now we're more isolated. Kids don't have the same, connection anymore that their parents used to. We're all behind these screens, behind these phones, and we're actually less comfortable with being looked at. And I think that's a real problem. That's a real problem, because these phones were supposed to make us connected, and part of being connected is feeling safe being vulnerable, right? Feeling safe being seen, like actually being seen. Not this mask, this persona that you put forth being seen, but like the actual you being seen. And what does that even mean? What does it mean to be you? I think the truth that you're seeking is in you. It's you. So, by trying to answer grandiose, questions like that, what does it mean to be you? I'm kind of being silly, but I'm also being serious. Ask that question, and when you get to the bottom of it, you see that there is no the answer is, it sounds so cliche, but the answer is inside you. This whole thing is one thing happening. This whole event that we call the universe, that we call life, that we call anything. You are just part of that. But that is also an experience happening where I started, where I'm going with this? Oh, I figured it out. Okay, that's where I was going. So we got to be more comfortable being seen, I think, especially in an age where there's screens like all around and we're supposed to be more connected. Like what? But also how to get there. That's what I was talking about. How to cultivate a capacity for creativity. The 3 C's. That's what I'll call it that. The 3 C's. Cultivating your capacity for creativity. How can we do that? Well, worrying about what you look like, how people will think of you, that's something that hasn't happened, that doesn't exist yet. That's in the future. The future doesn't exist. All right? Worrying about if you'll be good enough with your current set of circumstances, if your past has made you enough to present to people. The past also doesn't exist, so throw that away. When you throw away the future, you throw away the past, all you have really is the here and now. And when you're fully in that here and now, that's when you become creative. That's when you're aware of your awareness. And if you stay in that state of mind, I think you can be creative doing anything. Like you can be creative, like I said, washing the dishes. You can be creative driving home from work, like I'm doing right now. You just gotta stay in the present moment. And remember you're breathing. That's probably the easiest way to stay in the present moment. Because get this, guys. There's only one muscle, that's the diaphragm, that is both smooth and striated. What does that even mean? So smooth muscles are involuntary. They contract involuntary. So like your stomach, your intestines, those are smooth musculature. Striated muscles, on the other hand, like your shoulders, your triceps, any, what we consider like muscles, are voluntarily contracted. Obviously, you can squeeze your bicep, blah, blah, blah. But the diaphragm is both smooth and striated. And what that means is that it's a sort of hinge point. It's the entryway into being mindful, into being present. Because remembering your breathing sets in a whole cascade of effects. When you have a deep abdominal breath, putting a deep low pressure on your diaphragm, it actually makes more alpha waves in your brain as opposed to beta waves. Beta waves we associate with like fight or flight, right? And reactivity. So when you're scared or anxious, you're reactive. Whereas alpha waves in the brain, which we can achieve through deep breath and just being present, it snowballs. Alpha waves make us rest and digest. They make us calm. They make us responsive instead of reactive. And, you get too reactive, you get afraid, and you get more reactive. Well, if you become present and aware of your breath, you become responsive, and that calms you down. And you become more aware of your breath, and you become more responsive. And it's just a snowball, and it's kind of hard to start if you're on the other side, right? If you're like chronically fight or flight mode in your brain and your body. But you can always stop and breathe deep, low. Feel it in your back, in your sides, below your belly button. Feel your belly button push out, not just your chest rise, a deep breath, but a real deep breath, pushing your belly button down and out, creating a yawn space in your throat, right? All these things. all these things calm us down. You know, we think when we're tired, we yawn. But no, you can yawn to get tired. And I just don't mean tired. Tired can mean calm. Tired can mean grounded. You know, it's a spectrum. I know I've been in the dark this entire time. I don't know who is going to watch this. I know it's not all that cohesive. So if you made it this far, dude, I appreciate you. I'm glad you could take something from this. And hopefully